Just had to help an elderly person up the stairs and outside, a friend of a friend's, and yeah, she had massive. She walked up these steps, so just out the front here. So I said to her, "What do you have difficulty with the steps? Is it the coordination? Is it the balance?" She says, "No, it's just the legs feel weak." And I said, "We've got to have more sugar." She's like, "Oh, I can't have sugar." And I'm like, I can tell that you don't need much sugar because she could, I'm not being mean here, I'm just talking pure physiology here. She could definitely lose 30 kilos. So what I find is that people who fear the sugar, without question, always have poor athletic performance for their own goals in life. Whether it's walking up just a few steps, whether it's running a marathon PR, whether it's whatever it is. If you fear refined sugar, you will not be able to do anything to your true potential. Why is that? Because your body needs a lot of sucrose. In nature, we get it from fruit, but the fruit of these days, it's grown. There's certain varieties that are really sort of hard and they travel well. There's not much sucrose in there because they pick it super early, because otherwise it gets bruised in transport, and then it turns up in the shop and no one wants to bruise banana. And it's just like, so they pick the fruit super, super green, super unripe. And then when you eat it when it's ripe, and it's just hardly any sucrose in there. So adding sucrose to your diet is going to enhance your anxiety levels, anxiety control, like just you only know when you have a go. Get a 3 kilo bag of sugar. This is 3 kilos. This costs $1.80 or something in Australia, $2.70. It's pennies. Get a 3 kilo bag and consume that in a week or so. Just try that experiment. Just try that experiment. Add it to your fruit. Add it to your cereal. Cut out your oils. We'll get to another topic, but just do it. People are like, "Oh, no. My doctor said, do it, man. Do it. All right? Don't go, but, all right? Do it, man. Do it. Make the phone call. Make the connection. Get the sugar. Do shit, man. Don't give me excuses. Don't give yourself excuses. When you lose your excuses, you'll find your results in life. Oh, I don't want to call this person because I don't want to ask them about a date. And there's people wondering why they're like never getting any of their goals done in life because they're scared of rejection or listen to the social narrative or whatever. It's insane. My psychiatrist said, my doctor said, my psychologist said. Great. Are they living the dream life that you want to live? If not, then... So that's so the caffeine, man. Get back to the caffeine. The caffeine. The reason I love stimulants, but they don't love me. So I use them very, very, very sparingly. I've used modafinil, which is Provigil, Ritalins, Adderalls, street stimulants, and they're all pretty much the same thing. At least with the pharma grade stuff, you sort of know what you're getting. But I would say the worst for me, and from most people I've ever trained in the last 24 years, would be the caffeine, the theobromine, in terms of anxiety. Why is that? Because caffeine's in so many things, it's so encouraged. I've been offered drugs today, from Natasha's grandma. She wants a coffee. Like, it's not drugs, and it is drugs, but it's not drugs, And that's out of like, caffeine is just like a friendly thing to do. If you like someone or you're being friendly, would you like a cup of coffee? Would you like a tea? No one says, would you like some drugs? Grandma doesn't say, would you like some drugs? To stimulate anxiety and gastric distress. Would you like some increase your cortisol with a cup of coffee? So people are being nice. And that's the thing with caffeine. It's like, it's the drug where nice people offer it to you. So it's like, well, yeah, why not? And so we have caffeine as kids in Coca-Cola and, and in chocolate, the theobromine, which is like a sister element to caffeine. It's almost the same thing, but they trigger anxiety in most people. If they don't trigger anxiety in you, then you're probably not watching this video. That's fine. But if you do have anxiety issues, overt anxiety, which you're like, I don't feel in control of my anxiety, cut out the caffeine. Do it. Oh, I can't do that. Well, get used to taking Xanax. Get used to living with excess anxiety. And that's what people do. Like, well, I'm not going to count my coffee. I'll do Valium. I'll do diazepam. I'm going to do the benzos. I'm going to do all that. And then they come with the side effects. And you get SSRI medication. And that affects your libido. And then you get more sexual anxiety. And then you get relationship anxiety. And then it's like, how much anxiety do you want to build up just because you've got to have the caffeine? Just because you don't have enough carbohydrates during the day, so you feel more weak because you can't sleep deep enough. You don't get the REM sleep from sufficient serotonin, dopamine, melatonin. from sufficient carbohydrate intake, fruits, sugar, starches, white rice, corn, potatoes, etc. You know, and then that caffeine is like, when I have stims, I only have them when I'm feeling fantastic. When I've had enough sleep, water, sugar. I never have stims if I'm so tired, I don't have stim. Never. Exception might be in a 24-hour race, but that was 10 years ago last time I did one of those. Right? If you're tired, you need sleep, water, sugar, and or. I did all three, have a nap, and then come back to what you want to do. You know, if you're driving in a car, man, have a nap. The worst thing to do is like, oh, I'm falling asleep, I need some stims. Dangerous driving, man, all right? So, you know, I see it all the time, excess anxiety, you know, and the primary one is Coca-Cola, Nescafe, green tea, organic coffee. Oh, my coffee's organic, it's all right. It's better, but it's still anxiety triggering, all right, for most people. If it doesn't, then again, you wouldn't be watching this video. So that's the deal there. You know, cut the stims. Just do the experiment, man. Just do the experiment. So this, you know, do the experiment. Life's so difficult. Life's so harsh. Life's so unfair. Why make it harder than it has to be by using stimulants or following diets that avoid the very foods you need to help manage your anxiety? All right? Everybody has anxiety. You don't want to be zonking yourself out with Xanax and Valiums and shit like that, cough syrup and shit. Oh, what are you doing, man? Then you can't feel nothing, and then you don't have good It's just, right? You want to manage your anxiety. Right? Always in life, look for the cause of something versus treat the symptoms, suppress the symptoms with some toxic, liver toxic compounds that you don't even need, man. Nobody, in my opinion, 24 years of coaching people, nobody needs these toxic pharmaceuticals. And I'm not anti-drug by any means. I'm a huge fan of drugs in the right contexts. When it comes to anxiety management, depression, etc., I don't believe in any of them. The side effects are pernicious. So I'm not one of these, I'm a hippie, but I'm not like hippie where I'm saying, oh, no, all drugs are bad, all big pharma's bad, everything's bad. No. Context is very powerful. Some drugs are life-saving. Some drugs enhance your quality of life with minimal side effects, if any. Okay? So they're the drugs that you'll probably want to research into, but not use, because most people don't need them, etc. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. You know? Like a lot of people they're just, you know, like black or white, and that's good in some contexts, but there can also be a bit of a crossover and grey. Context, right? Context is important. Context is very, very important in life. Otherwise, if you miss the context, I didn't understand what context meant until, you know, pretty late in life. I was like, makes sense, you know. So yes, I see really, really good people suffering with that excess anxiety because of the caffeine consumption, theobromine consumption. Even things like the Ritalins and the Adderalls and things like that, they can cause anxiety in some people as well. For me, in my opinion, probably the best stimulant I've ever used, definitely the best stimulant I've ever used, would be the Provigil Modafinil. Super low dose, like quarter of a tab, super, super smooth feeling, no euphoria, no real peaks, no real crashes, just a deeper level of focus. You know, that I definitely find that stuff is pretty incredible. Not everyday usage at all, ever. I don't think you should use stims every single day because your parasympathetic nervous system needs time to chill out. Right? You need to unwind. So using stims every single day, which is most people, I'm like, man, it's just, you know, when are you out of yourself? I don't like myself. I don't want to be myself. No, you want to find yourself and be yourself, enjoy yourself, and then enjoy different types of yourself. You know, I'm not a fan of suppressing self, using drugs to suppress self experiences. I'm about using drugs if you want to. I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying if you're going to use them to enhance yourself because you know thyself and you want to like tweak it just a few % more. Right? If you can't control your sober self, how are you going to control your come down self? Right? Learn to control your sober self. Enjoy your sober self. Appreciate and have gratitude for your sober self. And then if you become your enhanced self and then your come down self, you've got more control there. People, what they're doing is just jumping straight to enhanced and come downs and bounce between those two. And no wonder people committing suicide, people just doing crazy shit, people going to prison, people just doing things. Oh my God, how I couldn't even control my rage. Like my state control was so poor because can't control state control sober self, God help you when you're enhanced or coming down. So yeah, that's the deal there. So caffeine, cut the caffeine. Second step would be to do that sugar. Do that 1 week sugar experiment. You're gonna feel so much better. People, oh man, it pains me deeply when people say sugar's bad, sugar's a drug, sugar's a stimulant, sugar is a nutrient. It's like someone is drowning, right? You're off the jetties, big swells, and you get the life jacket, you smash at the thing, you throw it over to them, and you throw them, they get the life jacket, and then they push it away. And like, oh, the life jacket this feels too heavy, it's gonna drown me. And they drown and they're like, help me. And I'm like, throwing you the freaking life jacket, put it over your head, man. No, it's too heavy, it's too weighty, it's gonna drown me. That's literally what happens when people are like, I can't do sugar, my doctor said, no, sugar's bad, I'm depressed, I'm overweight, I've got diabetes type 2, I've got all these food addictions, but I can't have sugar, I'm just feeling like I'm fat, and I feel absolutely terrible, but I can't have sugar, no, sugar's the evil one. That's the person drowning in the ocean. The life jacket's too heavy, no, it's going to drown me, the life jacket's bad, put it away from me, my doctor said the life jacket's bad. Do the experiment, man. Keep your fat intake under 20 grams a day. Just do it for a week, come on, a week. I'm not telling you have to starve yourself. I'm telling you have to load up on fruit, rice and sugar, cut your fat under 20 grams a day. Just do it for 1 week, man. Measure your blood tests, measure your CRP, measure your ESR, all those things are going to drop right down. Your insulin sensitivity is going to skyrocket because you've cleaned, you're detoxing your insulin receptor sites of fats, all these saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats, trans fats. You just dropping those right down to that under 20 gram a day threshold there, and your insulin sensitivity goes, and all of a sudden you're like, holy mamma mia, what's going on? That's, I remember doing acid for the first time ever in my life. I haven't done acid for over 20 something years. I did lysergic acid diethylamide back in, it was 93, my first acid trip. And I'm not encouraging this, I'm just saying, I'm saying don't do drugs, kids, but I'm just saying it's my experience. And I had the first time I had acid, and I was like, holy heck, damn, it was like a purple ohm. I think it was just like a quarter or even a half. And I was like, man, it just takes you to a different place. And this is what sugar does, it takes you, it opens up your head more than LSD does. When I had LSD, I'm like, oh, this is what drugs are. Okay, cool. But when you have the sugar and decrease your fat intake, you've never done that before, and now you feel better, you can perform better, and think better, and digest better, and insulin sensitivity goes up, and you just get better sensation down there, and you're like, oh, wow. Then you start to see the whole world differently, but you're 100% sober. You're 100% sober. So you're walking around the world like you're on this drug trip, but you're more sober than anyone else. Because you have all these drugs running through your system, then you're just like, oh man, that's the trip. You're so high because you're so sober, and everyone around you is off their chops, and then you become sober and like enhanced in a natural setting, and you're just like, wow, that's the trip. And only those who've done it, know what I'm talking about. You go to talk to your family, oh, sugar's bad. You're like, oh, here we go. Here's that drowning person with the life jacket, pushing the life jacket away. What's a life jacket weigh? 2 or 3 kilos. Doesn't make any sense to put it on your neck, does it? You're gonna sink, aren't you? Yeah, you're gonna sink. Sugar's bad. I mean, Durianrider, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm like, people are like, Harley, you're definitely skinny. You're so thin. You're so slim. But sugar makes you fat. You must be training the house down to be that lean. No, I just eat low fat. Crazy, it pains me. So that's anxiety right there. If you can't manage your anxiety, the anxiety medication will manage your life, and you'll have a libido will be crushed, which is fine if you're single. But you'll have, heart issues potentially, more neurotic thoughts potentially. Just look up the side effects. Any drug your doctor gives you, recommends you, go, thanks for that, and then your own time, Google up the side effects. You ask your pharmacist, can I have the printout of the side effects? Every drug they give a printout if you ask for it. They don't. If you ask for it, it's called the CMI, Consumer Medical Index information. And that's here in Australia. It'd be the same for most countries. And look at the side effects. Look at the side effects. Read people's experiences on Reddit, etc. Do you want that? When you could just, treat your anxiety and depression, excess anxiety, I should say. Because anxiety is normal. It's the excess we're trying to tone it down a bit. Just like a heart rate. A heart rate's normal. But if you're sitting in the chair and your heart rate's 200 beats a minute, then That's an excessive heart rate for sitting in a chair. So you want to have heart rate, you want to have anxiety, you want to have mood, you want to have vibe, you want to feel things in life. You don't want to be numb, just like lithiumed up. You know what I mean? It's lithium. It's like, man, people are using that stuff. It's like, right. It really, really pains me, man. You know. And then the caffeine often comes with cigarettes, and then not always, obviously, but the cigarette. I've never met anyone in the mental health merry-go-round who doesn't drink caffeine and or cigarettes. Have you met anyone with mental health going to the hospitals in and out and just, on the meds, the hardcore meds, they gain like 20, 30, 40 kilos on you? I've never met anyone in that big pharma, mental health, Abilify, lithium, SSRI, Valium, Xanax reality who doesn't use caffeine and or cigarettes. So for me, the cause of that whole thing is the cigarettes, caffeine. You pull the cigarettes and caffeine out, all of a sudden they go cycle around, and then, oh, I feel all right again. Back to normal life. Once I go back on the caffeine and the cigarettes, some people are just triggered like that, and they just get back onto it. That's the gateway. The gateway drug to the SSRI medications, that whole depression lifestyle, excess depression lifestyle. The gateway drugs are caffeine, theobromine, and probably thirdly, nicotine. Okay, so if you want to get out of that matrix of excess anxiety, excess depression, etc., you got to give up the caffeine and give up the cigarettes. Just do it for a couple of weeks to start with, and you can have caffeine here and there, but then when you bring it in, you'll feel real buzz. But then in the evening or whatever, you're like, oh man, I feel really blue. I don't even know why. I shouldn't feel blue. Everything in my life's fantastic. It's the caffeine, man. It's the theobromine, man. It's the nicotine, man, and all the stuff that's in those cigarettes. So ask yourself the question, what is my goal in life? Is my goal to have a happier life? Then if it is, then give the stims the flick, man. Give the stims the flick, especially the caffeine and the theobromine. And again, this is all backed. It's all backed by science. There's a guy out there called Ray Peat. I only found him a couple of years ago. I was promoting sugar a long time before I knew about his. So he said some really good things as well. So if you want more of a medical explanation, go check out Ray Peat. I don't agree with everything he says, but he's definitely got some on-point things for sure when it comes to caffeine and the importance of sugar, etc. But yeah, that's the deal. It's people ask me, how do you get all these amazing women in your life? Stunners like Victoria's Secret model level girls who are often 10, 20 years younger than you, and you're like, you look like a creepy meth junkie drug dealer from some Cabramatta train station in the 90s. Like, how are you not just scoring these chicks, but they move in with you, they give you their best years, and they give you everything you want? How is that? And it's like all my anxiety control. My anxiety state control is a big component of that. Like, women naturally are more anxious because of estrogen and lower testosterone. They're just more anxious. So a woman is attracted subconsciously and consciously to men who have incredible anxiety state control. Right? So a lot of guys in the gym working on the muscles, and that's really good. It's awesome, but if you have that physique, etc., but your anxiety state control or your aggression, etc., isn't good, the girl's going to be like, oh, shit. Damn. You know what I mean? Damn. 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 It's like a Ferrari with, a two-stroke motor in it. You're like, the Ferrari looks really good, and you go to jump in the Ferrari, you got to give it a rev, a bit of a boost off the lights, and it's just a two-stroke motor. It's a two-cylinder motor. It's a two-cylinder Fiat motor. It's got no guts at all. You're like, oh shit, this is a bit embarrassing almost. Like, oh man, I thought there was going to be some V12 power going on here. I thought this guy had some state control. He looks so alpha. He looks sigma, but he's got this beta anxiety cloud over him. Oh, damn. But he's good enough for now, and I'll keep looking around, see if there's an alpha actually out there who is an alpha 24/7, etc. mentally. So that's often what women, crave the bigger muscular guy, because you just assume, you just think that person is going to be stronger mentally, but that's often rarely the case, because the guys often put the most effort into appearance and trying to cover up some internal insufficiencies, and that's not a bad thing, right? I'm just telling people it's great to focus on the external, but guys, also work on your game and your inner self, right? So if you can't be happy at a scrawny 60 kilos, you won't be happy at 100 kilos, swole as F, you know, just cranking like that, because someone will say something to you like, you know, they'll critique your body part or your hair or your face or whatever, and you'll be like, you'll crumble, you'll crack in front of your lady, and she'll sniff that. She'll be like, oh shit, damn. And there'll be a massive attraction down, which you can bring up obviously by changing your state. But so I tell people, you know, like, it's great to focus on the aesthetic, but inner game, man, inner game is so important, because, you know, that's probably the number one aphrodisiac. Because once you open your mouth, you can build attraction. You can put the brakes on attraction, or you can accelerate attraction by opening your mouth, saying the right things or the wrong things, or your vibe, or your posture, etc. So your physical appearance can give that acceleration of attraction, attraction, acceleration, but then your behavior can put a brake on the acceleration, you know, a brake on the attraction. Anyway, that's the deal. That's anxiety in a nutshell. You're not going to hear this from your psych. Well, hopefully you do hear this from your psych, but sadly I think you're not going to hear it. But hopefully you do. Hopefully they say, hey, you got anxiety? Well, you've been admitted to the hospital. How much caffeine have you had in the last 24 hours? How many grams of carbs have you had in the last 24 hours? Did you have a lot of oil or a lot of fatty food in the last 24 hours? I think that's causing a bit of insulin resistance, which can exacerbate anxiety. Let's look at your diet. No. They go jab, straight jacket, boom, under monitoring. Because that's where the money is, man. That's where the money is. There's not much money in nutrition and sugar, rice, and fruit, and cutting out the oil and animal products. Not much money in that. That's pennies. You know what I mean? That's pennies. So you got to make it fancy for the consumer, so they feel like their money and, you know, spending was justified. So unfortunately, you give people the absolute truth, you'll lose their respect. And you tell people lies and bullshit that makes their feelings feel good, you'll get their respect. You know? And I can't live in that reality anymore. I'm like, I don't care if you like me or not. I'm just giving you the truth that you need to hear right now. It's going to help you become a better person. You know, and we all lie. I lie. But when it comes to nutrition, you know, and giving people life direction, I refuse to lie. You know, I refuse to lie. If I can see something's going to help you have a better quality of life, I'm going to tell you straight up. You might hate my guts and disrespect me, whatever. I'm going to go, cool. I got it off my chest. I can sleep at night. I told you the way. I told you the direction. If I know you're trying to go south, I'm going to show you how to go south. I'm not going to tell you to go north or east or west. I'm going to say, okay, you want to go south? This is where to go. And you might not like the answer. You might not like the answer, but that's not my props. I just want to be here to give the message, and people do what they want with it. But that's anxiety, man. This is 100% bulletproof, foolproof direction. Cut the stims to start with, and then go from there. You know, and then you might have a B12 deficiency because you're going to bed late, which again stems from stimulants. It's hard to get the proper sleep when your parasympathetic nervous system's like vibrating like a magic wand, on full gas. You know what I mean? It's like vibrating like a magic wand on ovulation day. You know, like your parasympathetic nervous system needs to chill. Right? And you can't get deep sleep, proper serotonin and melatonin production when you have stims in your bloodstream every single day. And then anxiety kicks off. Excess anxiety kicks off. So wrap it up. Anxiety is normal. Excess anxiety is triggered by primarily caffeine, theobromine, and or other stimulants, and or nicotine. Take those away, anxiety comes down, and you can micromanage it better. And you can change your perception, procedure on things in your life. And you can have empathy to understand why someone does something, you know. But it's really hard to have empathy, compassion, insight, context, shift to perception, shift to procedure when your parasympathetic nervous system is you're just rushing, man, on stims, caffeine and green tea, matcha, things like that. All right? Take them out, then you can just chill it down, and does that make sense? It's hard to focus on a conversation when you're busting to go to the toilet. Go to the toilet first, have some food or whatever you're going to do, and then come back to the conversation. Have a little nap. It's hard to be yourself when you've got stimulants in your bloodstream, just shaking your your parasympathetic nervous system, your central nervous system. It's hard to bring it back down and be grounded. Take your shoes off, walk barefoot on the dirt or something, get some grass, and then just reassess things, okay? Trust me, do this. Otherwise, get used to a life of, excess, darkness, and despair, and frustration, and desperation, and depression, and excess of all these negative emotions. A little bit of negative is good. Helps you be a balanced person. Gives you direction. If it's all positive, you won't get much direction. But how do you know when something's good or bad? You feel a bit more negative. Oh no, I've got to go this way. I want to feel more positive. So negative's great. You want to have the balance there. Excess negative is always a cause of that. Stims, man. Stims.